There are reptiles living in your head. You don't see them because they don't crawl on the floor, they crawl in your thoughts. Every time you second guess yourself, that's a snake. Every time you replay what they said about you 5 years ago, that's a lizard with a long tail feeding on your insecurity. You think it's just overthinking, or you think it's just how I am. But listen to me, what you call a mindset might simply be a mental infestation. Reptiles of the mind, trained by trauma, fed by fear, grown fat on shame. You weren't born like this. You were programmed by a mother who said don't aim too high, a father who only showed up to tear you down, a teacher who laughed when you tried, a religious leader who preached chains into your soul and called it holiness. And now you carry their venom in your blood and it shows. You want to start a business, but a serpent named What If is tied around your neck. You want to speak up, but a gecko called people pleasing tries to shut you down. You want to love again, but a python of previous heartbreak coils around your neck and squeezes every oxygen and hope out of you. These are not just habits, these are reptiles, cold-blooded survival mechanisms disguised as personality. You say, I don't trust anyone, but that's a mental monitor lizard that grew when your trust was betrayed. You say, I just need everything to be perfect before I start. That's a snake named perfectionism, trained to keep you caged, dressed in preparation and dying in hesitation. You're not lazy, you're infested, not by sin, not by spirits, but by survival patterns that overstayed their welcome. But here's the killer. You feed them every time you say, that's just how I am. Every time you stay in the room that's killing you just because you're afraid to be alone. Every time you shrink to make others comfortable. You feed them when you tolerate friends who joke about your dreams. You feed them each time you ignore the voice inside you that says there's more. You feed them when you confuse silence with peace. And the longer you feed them, the more they grow. Until one day you realize you've been hissing at your own destiny. But here's something you need to know. Reptiles can be starved. They can be hunted. They can be exiled. You want to kill them? Start by speaking the opposite of their lies. Replace what if I fail with what if I win louder than they expect. Replace I'm not enough with even broken bones can carry kingdoms. You kill them by doing the things they told you you couldn't do. You kill them by showing up when your legs are shaking. You kill them by making movement your weapon, by making decisions that terrify your comfort zone, and certainly by refusing to let silence become your sanctuary. This isn't mindset work. This is warfare against the zoo in your head that's been breathing fear in the dark. You weren't built to slither. You weren't born to hide under the rocks. You weren't made to hiss at joy and bite at healing. You were built to rule. But you cannot wear a crown while snakes are living in your skull. So burn the nest, torch the jungle, and kill every reptile that dares to speak when your destiny calls. Because freedom begins when you stop calling the snake a pet and start calling it an enemy.